Hi everyone, my name is Selena, and today I wanted to do what I'm going to call Sunday Reflections, where after I come back from service, I share with you guys the book thoughts that went through my head. So take a little wander down with me into my thought process. I'll sit in service, and the topic will be whatever the topic is, but usually what would happen is I start thinking and making connections between whatever the topic is and books that I've read. And I start thinking about the characters and the writing and the plot and the structure and all that stuff. So I thought I'd share a little bit of that with you guys today. So I was watching AD this Sunday, which is on NBC. It's a telling of like the story of Acts in the Bible. And I was intrigued again with the story of Paul, the conversion of Saul to Paul. And I had known the story beforehand, but I was just touched again by that character. And so I started thinking of other book characters who had a similar transition from being more of a negative or villain type character and then turned or transformed to a character that is beloved. And so that led me to three different books that I started thinking about, and I'm going to share those with you. The first one was Peter in the Divergent series. I would say I love Peter, but I'm intrigued by Peter. Whenever he's on the page, I want to just kind of slow down and figure him out. I wrote him off after the first book, and by the way, spoilers. But yeah, I wrote him off after the first book because he just was so villainous and awful, like god awful, and I just wanted him to be as far away from Triss as possible. I did not want him, Triss, or Ford to like be together because I knew like bad things was going to happen. And then by book 2, and now the second movie is out, you start to see a change in Peter, and you see that his villainy isn't as concrete in his being as maybe once thought. That there was some transformation that happened, and I think that's due to his intelligence. I never got that he was a dumb character, mean, conniving, vindictive, maybe, but never dumb. And I think that that's one quality that in all three of the books I'm going to share with you that. All three characters, I'm sorry, that I'm going to share with you have in common, and it's their intelligence that aids them in their shift. And in the AD story on NBC, that seems to be kind of what Paul has. And the number 2 is Professor Snape from the Harry Potter series, and I love his story. I love his character, and you don't see him as a Death Eater, but you know that that's part of his background and his history. But even just in the stories themselves, in the books, he seems to start off as a character that you're supposed to not like, and you just can't get rid of him, just that nudge. But as the stories progress, you kind of start to see parts of that chipping away, and J.K. Rowling just masterfully starts to just bloom this character very slowly into this wonderful, wonderful person and hero almost of the entire story. Becomes Professor Snape in a weird way. Yes, Harry is the ultimate hero of the story, but I mean, Professor Snape is right up there with major heroes of the Harry Potter story. And for me, his intelligence, because he was just able to play the characters that he needed to play and play the roles that he needed to play so masterfully, just mind-boggling. And then his ability to deal with his emotions and his character. Oh my gosh, his story, so emotional, but his ability to handle it and channel it in such a way it just so shows a depth of character that I don't think any of the other characters in the story had. The third character I was thinking about was Edmund from the Chronicles of Narnia, specifically The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is book 2 or book 1, depending on how you want to organize the books. Anyway, Edmund. And so in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, he starts off as not a nice boy. He's mean, vindictive. He sounds a little bit like Peter, doesn't he? And conniving, and it's just mean to his sisters. And then he falls even further from grace. And then by the end of the story, he becomes one of the major heroes, and especially in some of the other books where he's featured in, he becomes one of the major heroes in those stories and in the chronicles. And I just think out of all the Pevensie siblings, Peter is the most interesting and the most appealing. He's always been my favorite of the Pevensie siblings, just because he felt more human to me, and he felt like, I don't know, like he had depth. And I think that that's the key. When someone goes from one end of life and believing and thinking one way and then changes their perspective or ideas, they seem to reflect reality more so than characters who are always on a straight and narrow and who always make good decisions. Not necessarily the right decisions, but they make good decisions. The characters who kind of are tossed between good and bad decisions seem more real, because, I mean, I know that happens to me. You're not always the hero in every situation. Sometimes you play the villain. And it just seems more human, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. So let me know down and below in the comments what you guys think. Just, do you like those characters to start out as villains and then change in the end, or do you like your characters to stay in their designated area? Talk to me, guys. Bye.